The Agile Planning Onion. Agile planning happens at various levels, from strategy to daily planning. The various levels of planning are depicted in this figure. It is known as Agile Planning Onion. Like the layers of an onion, as you peel off, you get to lower and lower layers. Similarly, in Agile Planning Onion, as you peel off the layers, you go to the lower levels of layers. We'll see all the levels one by one. However, let us have a brief discussion with respect to this Agile Planning Onion. At the highest level, we have strategy planning. Inside that, we have portfolio planning. Under portfolio, we have product planning. Product is part of the project, so you can call it also as project planning. A project will have multiple releases, and hence next we have is release planning. A release will have multiple iterations, and hence we have iteration planning. And at the lowest level, we have day-based planning or daily planning. Related to it, I have a tip which is telling you for the PMI-ACP exam, remember the components of the Agile Onion. However, have more focus with respect to the last three levels of planning: release planning, iteration planning, and daily planning. Because as part of the Agile team, you are most likely to be exposed to these three levels of planning. Now let us see various levels of planning in Agile one by one. One is strategy planning. Strategic planning of an organization happens in every 3 to 5 years. However, a shorter timeline is also possible. Strategic planning of an organization is based on the vision, that is the end state of the organization, and mission, that is where to go. This planning creates a strategic plan, and the strategic plan will contain the vision of the organization, the accompanying mission statement, the organizational goals, the organizational strategic objectives, or organizational strategy. So this strategic plan will contain vision, mission, goals, strategies, and objectives. Next to strategic planning, we have portfolio planning. The strategic plan of the organization is divided into various initiatives. A set of initiatives make a portfolio. Let us say we divided the strategic plan into 20 initiatives. Now I can club Initiative 1, Initiative 3, Initiative 5 as one portfolio. Initiative 7, Initiative 11, Initiative 15 as another portfolio, and so on. The organization chooses a portfolio of products and services designed to reach a particular market or market segment. So inside portfolio, we'll have product related planning. And this portfolio planning could span up to 2 to 3 years. With the product vision, we create the project charter, and from there the roadmap, as we have seen in earlier sections. So first the vision will be available for the product, which will be part of a portfolio, because portfolio of products. A portfolio can contain multiple products. And first we have a vision for the product, from where we'll get the charter, and from where we'll get the roadmap. The product vision also helps in building the project data sheet, and from there a release plan is created. Next to that we have is release planning. Release planning happens at the beginning of the project and continues throughout. A project is basically a set of releases. Release 1, release 2, release 3, release 10, like that. So it will constitute multiple releases. In every release, there is a set of features which can be released together. These are depicted in the product roadmap or story map, as we have seen earlier. The product roadmap will have internal release 1, internal release 2, as I have explained before. Next we have is iteration planning. Iteration planning happens at the start of each iteration. At the end of each iteration, a potentially shippable and incremental version of the product is delivered. A release is a set of iterations. These are depicted in the product roadmap. So the iteration details will be also part of the release. Release 1 will have iteration 1, 2, 3. Release 2 will have iteration 4, 5, 6, and so on. And the last level of planning is daily planning. Daily planning is also there in Agile. Many people think there is no daily planning. Yes, it does exist. Effectively, it is a short time-boxed meeting which happens daily at the same time and at the same place with all the team members. It is the lowest level of planning in Agile. For example, in Scrum, a daily stand-up meeting happens for 15 minutes among the team members. Again, remember that the moot point here is to inspect and adapt. For the other planning as well, iteration planning or release planning, the idea is to inspect and adapt, because we are talking about adaptive planning. As the Agile team is focused on the lower three levels of planning, that is release, iteration, and daily planning, we'll have more discussion with respect to these plannings. However, before that, we need to understand a key concept in Agile known as time boxing. I have spoken about time boxing earlier in the lesson 3 Agile Principles and Mindset. Time boxing is telling you whatever plan you have to complete within this time box. If you can't complete, then another time box will start and you have to complete those items which are incomplete, or you can take additional new items. So each planning, whether it is release planning or iteration planning or daily planning, this planning is time boxed. It has to complete it within a time frame no matter what. And hence the name, not just timeline, it is a box. You cannot go beyond that box. Now we have another tip which is telling you strategy, portfolio and product planning are outside the scope of most Agile teams. The top 3 levels of Agile Planning Onion. Agile teams are primarily planning at 3 levels: release, iteration and day level.